My name is Nina. I have been unexpectedly asked to speak this morning. So I'm not prepared and I'm a little nervous, so just bear with me. I see new people here that I don't know. I thought I might just throw it out to you if you have any questions or topics that you'd like to cover. I urge you, often myself, I have a question, I'm like, oh, I'll just keep that to myself, or it's not really relevant. You would be surprised how relevant your experience is and how similar it often is to other people's experience and how helpful it is when you share something. So I'm really just not putting you on the spot, but encouraging you to share. And really what I will do today, because I don't have a topic prepared, is share my own experience on issues that I've been dealing with lately. If nobody has anything, I have been dealing with certain things that I feel I've wanted to get involved in, be active in, activism, helping others, and I found myself for a long time dealing with my own problems, being very overwhelmed by them. I mean, one of them is health issues, which are very, very limiting. So I really found myself closing in and kind of dealing with all of these problems of the world by not dealing with them, by kind of just shutting the door or complaining and being aggravated with things. So I think really what happened to me, and probably what happens to a lot of people when we see so much suffering in the world, so many problems, is that you really just shut down because you feel so overwhelmed. You feel, what could I really do anyway? So one realization that I've had lately is the smallest thing actually really does matter. You may feel you don't have the time, you don't have whatever energy or whatever. But for me, this taking of one small step is enormous. For myself, it was becoming involved in political activism in the community and finding out about it. If anybody wants to know more about that, please ask me, because I'm just getting my feet wet, but I've met some amazing and incredible people who really want to make a difference for good, who want to make sure that we're a society that cares instead of oppresses and, some of the other really negative things that we see going on. And, if there's something you feel pushed to do or some way that you want to help others, don't feel that you have to solve. If you meet someone who's troubled, I would always feel overwhelmed. Okay, now this is my project and I have to save this person's life. And it's really not like that. Do something small for that person. It can make a huge difference. And I use this silly example of being in a lot of debris, up and down the hill to the brush pile with these things, and getting a little bit maybe annoyed with my family. Like, I could just, if they could, and I realized at that time, if somebody just said, oh, let me do one wheelbarrow, let me push that would make a huge difference. So we can make a huge difference by doing something small. This is, an experience that's kind of a relief for me because I'm always so over-responsible. I think if you can't completely solve the problem, it's not worth doing anything. So, this is my experience with this. How does this apply to our practice, you might ask? I think just becoming aware of our own needs and the needs of others. Another topic that comes to mind as far as solving, not just political differences, but a lot of differences is, I've recently read a book, and the title kind of sounds a little ridiculous. Nonviolent communication is the title of this book. I don't know if anybody is familiar with this, but it was recommended to me by a woman that I met on a retreat. And, the book is really about understanding the needs of somebody on the other side, or who has a completely different view. And this person has helped in negotiations in terrible situations worldwide, who then wrote this book. But on a personal level, I realized that for myself, and probably for a lot of us, we are frequently involved in a violent dialogue. And I don't mean I want to kill myself or I want to kill somebody else, but we're feeling and saying negative things about ourselves or about something else, another circumstance. And that I think is the beginning of violence. And it's a kind of a violent way, and I found myself, that's not any good, or, how could I have done that? Or just this constant judgment is, I think, the beginning of violence. It's the beginning of, everything that is negative. So, what am I saying here? I think I'm saying to be aware of the internal dialogue. And, sometimes I will find that I have an emotional response and I don't even know why. And then I go back and I look at the thoughts behind it. And sometimes the thoughts are so negative and they're also absurd. So when you go and you say them out loud, what am I really thinking about this? And then you say this thing out loud and you realize how absurd it is. And it's based on untruths. So it's based on living in a reality that is an unreality that we have concocted often and made for ourselves, and it's negative and hurtful. So, does anybody have any similar experiences? What I'd really like to meet people, if you don't mind, could I ask everyone to introduce themselves? We have our teachers. We have Achanda here. We have Achan Nipong. And we have Fra Tabibat, who are our teachers. They are from Thailand. They are forest monks of this particular tradition of Buddhist meditation. But this particular tradition, actually, we're going to be having a retreat here October 3rd to 5th, run by Fra Tabibat on this dynamic meditation. So it's a chance for everyone, new or experienced, to deepen their practice, maybe find out more about why we use this hand movement, It's not commonly used. I mean, what's commonly used in meditation practice and vipassana practice is an attention on the breath, which is probably, I would say, how the Buddha meditated. But this practice uses this mahasati movement as an anchor to make us aware. So what we're doing here is we're looking for ultimate reality. You know, I spoke of all these other realities that people can live in. And we here are looking for ultimate reality, and ultimate reality is just everything that you experience through your senses and what you experience with your mind. And we're sitting and we're looking, or we're moving and we're looking. And with that, the mind gets to rest, the body gets to rest. A good way to get to ultimate reality is through the body, because the body is always in the present moment. It can't be in the future. It can't be in its state 10 years from now. It can't sometimes, unfortunately, be in its state from 20 years earlier. So if you focus on the information from your senses, even the touch, that brings you to what's presently here. This other thing here, this wheel of concoction, that creates a reality that you can live in. You can have ideals, you can be Christian nationalists, and this is what you feel is the right thing to do, and this is a strong reality of which you're going to live your life under the dome of that sort of understanding. Or, you know, I've often found myself living under the dome of misunderstanding, making up stories and scenarios of social scenarios where I'm the bad person in that story. And, you know, suddenly it's oppressive. It's really oppressive. It's, you know, like, this is the truth. And, you know, because you did this, you are this. And if you can step back from something like that, it really can be enormous, you know? And I recalled times for myself where I said, you are making this story. You are making this terrible story. Just step outside it. And one way that we get outside it is from doing our practice, our formal practice. And our formal practice is one thing, but it changes your being, your formal practice. And that is what you can carry into your life. And when you carry a different mindset, a mindset of peace in a world that is constantly at war in some way or another, you live a different life. You live a more skillful life. You live a more peaceful life. You live, when there's struggle, you have a chance. You understand it. You can look at it more objectively, you know, and you can find freedom from a lot of the things, a lot of the schemas that have been shoved down our throats for so long. I mean, you know, you could question things. You could say, why does my family hold on to that belief? Or why am I holding on to this belief? And it's just, it's a greater awareness. And, you know, I hope everybody who's here will continue. But if you don't mind, could I ask you to introduce yourself? I'll say again, my name is Nina, and I've been coming here for at least 15 years. And my practice, I feel ups and downs. I feel myself slipping backward into, maybe not the best mental and physiological state and having to come back, but this is really just about coming back. So, why don't you?
Sure. I'm Mike.
Mike. Hi, Mike.
It's my second time here.
Oh,
I was here last week.
Okay. So.
And I'm here to maybe make peace with how we can't change the past and how to move forward with the present and increase the future.
Beautiful. Thank you so much and welcome.
Sherry, I've been coming to the center for about 8 months now. But I've been had a practice for about 30 years.
That's pretty solid.
I'm Sheila, and I think I've been here 5 or 6 times. It helps with clearing my mind and staying in the present moment.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I've recently been here 4 or 5 times.
Okay. On Sundays, they're often what the center has been doing is having a lay speaker. So you may, see a lay person up here on Sunday, which is, I think, anybody's experience is truly interesting. New practitioner, seasoned practitioner. I think it's wonderful to hear from new people. What is your experience in the very beginning? And thank you, Emerson.
Brian, I'm here off and I'm just here to help deal with change.
Okay, great.
I'm Nancy. I've been coming here for 15 or 20 years. Maybe more, I don't know. But I feel like this practice gives one tools. Without these tools in your tool belt, life can be very, very difficult and overwhelming. And I'm just grateful for these tools.
We're grateful for you. And Nancy has helped me so many times with directing me toward reading material that is helpful and both Buddhist and science-based and things that just make complete sense. When something makes sense, you know it. I'm tempted to repeat Frank's story about Shandal, but can you?
My name's Paul. I've been coming here. I'm not really sure. Maybe a little more than 5 years, I think. Sorry, I came a little late, so I started back. I find it moving meditation to be extremely helpful. I just prefer to move around, I guess. And one of the things is, if you come consistently, for some reason, you will catch a gem. Maybe not every time, but occasionally thought or an idea or a perspective from either the speaker or the monks or just on their own. And those, in my experience, can really produce profound personal results on occasion, not every time, but enough to make it worthwhile to keep attending. And so encouraging what is new to keep showing up on again.
Thank you. And thank you for pointing out that it's always a different experience. Like sometimes, you'll come here and it takes a long time. Your mind is just moving round and round. And other times, you'll come and you'll just be able to immediately sit and be present. So I think that's with any practice, that you just keep coming. But I think, at least my mind does this. It says, oh, I had that wonderful experience last time. I'm coming back for that again. Then you come and it's like, what the hell is that? So I think just showing up every time, even when you're confused, even when you don't feel happy, even, it's something that the consistency is what changes you. I started doing a hypnosis app for health reasons. And they stress the fact that, consistency just keep coming back. And, ask questions and talk to people because, talk to our teachers. And, increase your perspective. But I think really what's wonderful about this is you're not looking anywhere else. You're not looking outside yourself for some kind of an answer, because the answer is within. It's cleaning up, going through this mess of illusions that we're basically living in, and seeing how often we create a reality that's not a good one. So if we can create a reality in our minds that's not a good one, there's an equal potential to create a reality that is a good one. And sometimes sometimes you have to be very active with it. At least I find if I have a really negative thought, I'll have to say, well, maybe I could replace that with a positive one, or see the good in this situation. And, I think sometimes just saying the things out loud can really make you aware, oh, yeah, that was really my thought. Yeah. And I really would encourage, if you can come, even if you can come for a few hours to the retreat and experience. It may be tough in the beginning. I give people a lot of credit who are new to sit here for an hour, because I remember that for me, it used to be difficult. And also the concept that, you're going to sit there for an hour and a half, that's a waste of time. I could be exercising, or I could be doing ABC. This is not a waste of time by any means. Whatever you're going to do well, if we're going to paint this room, not the wood, you say the back, what would we spend the most time doing? Not the painting, all the prep work. Cleaning up the woodwork and sanding things down and making the walls smooth and repairing. This is the prep work. And you're sitting here. This is the prep work for everyday life. When you meet somebody in the supermarket who's super nasty for some reason, some stranger that you don't even know, and the hairs go up on the back of your neck. This is the prep work for a different response than the one you might have had before you had a level of awareness. So, very, very important work. Important work. It's nice to see younger people who sit down and put the time into this and realize the benefits of it, because it can change your life and it can reduce your suffering. That is what the Buddha aims to do. He aimed to reduce our mental suffering, which we could have had terrible experiences and we can be traumatized. But if that was 30 years ago, right now then, if you're still suffering, it's because your mind is doing that. Now, it's not always easy to stop the mind. It can take a lot, especially if you have a lot of anxiety, a lot of disturbance, and I know. So that's another thing, is not to compare yourself. Oh, that person seems to have just gotten it right away. You will get it in your time, and you may have to find other ways, to assist and bolster your meditation practice if your troubles are extreme, like, if you have extreme anxiety or, other issues. So, but I mean, this is as resourceful as it gets to unwrap the package of yourself and see what's in there and, realize how much creative potential you have over your own thoughts. And it is our thoughts and how do I summarize how we suffer? I think we suffer from wanting things to be other than how they are. It's the should be's, should have done this. My life should be like this. There's no such thing. And you really realize there's no such thing. It's a bunch of junk. It's a bag of junk that you've been carrying around. Take that thing and sling it. So, I mean, that's the way I see this. And I thank everybody for being here, for their practice. And it's encouraging to me. It's encouraging to me to see new people in a world where so much has gone wrong, to see people who are looking at themselves. I mean, we are the tools to change the world, looking at improving yourselves, improving ourselves. So, thank you. And I really do encourage, again, any questions or comments. And peace and quiet.